I got a participation medal for being in the contest.
You got a participation medal for being in the contest?
Yeah.
I did. Wouldn't it be great if you were in a comedy contest and you got like a participation ribbon at the end? Thanks.
Your certificate of Ha.
Don Barnhart, everybody.
Hey.
The road to Vegas, man. Except you live in Vegas, so it's just kind of weird.
It's down the street to Vegas, to the gig. I'm having them fly me in. I'm having them fly me out so I can fly back in because I want every dollar I can get out of this contest.
That's not good to tell them on camera.
Oh, are we rolling? Being in the contest, and this goes back to something that somebody told me a long time ago, and I forget who it was, but somebody very famous, just insert the name down there.
Just drop the name at the bottom of the screen.
Right. It's, I already won by being in the contest because of the exposure that you're going to get. It doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it's getting seen in a good environment. Unless you just crumble and snap and you just lay a turd on stage, which hopefully won't happen.
It's not good.
It's not good at all, but you will get the exposure from that. Comic glazed turd.
Can you imagine just getting on stage, just drop the trout, just be like, you know what, this isn't going well, so I'm just gonna
I'm gonna leave you on this note.
Oh my god.
Follow.
You saw it here first. If he bombs, he's going to drop trout and
It's just
poop, because poop's always actual poop though, I don't know, that might be.
No, but if you do that, you gotta go first. That way nobody can follow you. Because if you drop a deuce on stage, follow that.
That's how you win the contest. Make sure you go first.
Drop a deuce.
Drop a deuce. And then go, thanks everybody. Good night. Good luck to all the other comedians.
Brad Garrett up here. Brad came to Vegas and I got to open for him. And Brad goes, hey, you mind if I do a few minutes before I bring you up? I go, yeah, go for it. He does 35 minutes. Destroys. And he walks off and goes, sorry about that. The first time I went to showcase at the Improv, I had to follow George Wallace. Very great comic. 30 minutes standing ovation. Kills. Absolutely just kills.
Were you terrified?
I was shaking my boots. I was like a deer in the headlights. George walks up and goes, oh no, they're not putting you on now. And I just, I go on, I die. I left my body. My 12-minute showcase turned out to be about 3.5 minutes. I ran out of material at 2. I started working the crowd. I pick up menus. Don't forget the chicken wings are on special today. I'm dying. The only laugh I can hear is my father howling in the back of the back room, just dying because there's nothing he can do. I'm just tanking it. I'm down in flames. He later said he wished he could have tackled me to get out. I get off stage and George is there. Tears are just welling up. I know I'm done. And he goes, "This is the best thing that ever happened to me." I'm like, "Are you crazy? What have you been smoking, man?" He goes, "No, you're either gonna get so good this will never happen again, or you're gonna go home and you're gonna quit and you'll save yourself a lifetime of misery." 3 months later, I go back to showcase. A guy named Jerry Seinfeld walks in to do a set. Kills. And they go, "You're next." Oh, you're kidding me. Just punch myself right in the nuggets. And, I go on stage. I go, "Hey, I'm going to have for Seinfeld for opening up for me." I didn't do great, but I got a laugh. I did okay. Bud goes, "All right, you're on the list." And from there, I started getting sets and working out my material. And Bud goes, "You want to get good? You got to go on the road, man. You got to learn to play." He didn't say "man," you know, but that's my interpretation.
Don, you have to go on the road. Be better as a. That with dueling buds. We should do the whole interview like that. Don, I get a very good comedian.
But don't call us, we'll call you.
We love you, bud.
Hello, Bud. Thank you.
Yeah, but you know, that's a perfect thing to start off about talking about. It doesn't matter that you've done it 20 years. It doesn't matter that you've done it 5 years. It's about getting better as a comedian and loving what you do and the passion. George was so right. Either stay and go for it, or don't at all.
And get out.
Or get out, because it's a hell of business, and we do it because we love it. We love making people laugh. And here you were, oh my God! I mean, think about it. But after George Wallace, you barely got 3 to 10 minutes, and then Seinfeld, but you said it yourself. You got a little better.
I got a little better. And I went out on the road and I got a lot better. And a lot better. And comedy's like wine. It's seasoning. You keep fine tuning. You've got to be sparring like a boxer every night. If you're not on stage a couple times a week, you're not good. You're not at your best. So 10 years after that, I'm in Montreal. I'm not doing the showcase, but I'm just watching a friend go down in flames. He's dying. He gets off stage, welling up in his eyes. I go, what's wrong? He goes, man, I just died out there in front of Montreal, the comedy festival. I go, did I ever tell you what George Wallace said to me? This one here is me with Wham hair. And that's,
wow. That's you and Dana Carvey.
That is. Dana Carvey. That was my first time on stage. I was a doorman at the Comedy Magic Club down in Hermosa Beach. I wasn't even near the Improv at that point. And the MC got sick. He had a coke problem at the time and didn't show up for work. And Dana was featuring back then. He wasn't even a headliner. And he goes, I need someone to open the show. And I go, well, you've done some acting. You go on stage. I go, And after I threw up in the bathroom, I went up. I go, well, what do I say? I don't have any jokes. And Danny goes, I got a joke for you. Here's your joke. Open the joke. Sylvester Stallone has a new movie out where he plays a violent weatherman called First Flood. And I went out and I did that joke and I got nothing. And I thought right there, I've got to write my own material.
Because it was a turning point for you as a comedian. I found there was a point, Jamie Kaler, a wonderful, gracious comedian. Jamie came up to me one night and he wanted to watch my set. And I was like, he's gonna see me doing the same 10 minutes I've been doing for a year. And he's gonna give me hell. And he's gonna go, Brett, you need to be working on your stuff.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, I'm still doing it. He goes, just do it. So I did it. And I was done. He comes up to me and goes, that is the greatest I've ever seen you. And I go, what are you talking about? He goes, you're you now. And it was then that I realized I'd made that transition from doing bits to finding my own and starting a whole new journey of being happy, being a comic. What do you remember yours when that kind of happened for you?
I went to join the military when I was 18, and they were closed. They were open. The recruiter was closed. I had a glaucoma problem at the time. You get that? DonBarnhart.com. FedEx, don't regular mail. Yeah. Don't put your return address.
Wrap it tight.
Yes.
I could talk really good and stuff. Shut up. Okay, that's appropriate.
Even if I were to lose the contest, it doesn't matter because I've been seen. And if I do good in the contest, they'll go, wow, this guy's good. He might not win the contest, but he'll be good for this part over here or for that over there. Or, you know what? The agent that comes in from APA might go, well, this guy would be good for a part that we're looking for the new Will Ferrell film.
It's Danny Robinson from APA.
Oh.
Who's coming in. Danny is the sweetest, nicest guy, and that's a perfect example. It's just all helping each other. And Danny, if he sees you, even if you don't win, he's going to see something in you. Even if he doesn't say come over to be at APA,
right.
I already know Danny. He's going to walk up to you and go, you know what, Don? Great, you should be doing this. You should talk to this person.
That's awesome.
I called Danny one day to help me with a contract. He helped me with a contract. No, didn't want money. He just gave me advice. Why? Because there are people in the industry that want to help each other. And if you have that attitude, he's going to see that attitude. I think every fan out there loves to hear the fun road stories. And I know you got a billion of them, but can you think of one or two that are just, that you'll never forget?
Those stories I've repressed. I am happily married now. This is a mattress in the garage that I have out here in case I get in trouble with the wife when I do something stupid. Mono, homoerotic. Are we home?
Yeah, we're rolling again. Well, you do have to pay your dues on the road.
But you know what? That's the great thing about being a comic is you're vulnerable. And if you can show that vulnerability
with your pants off, you're gonna get everywhere in Hollywood.
I've done a nudist colony. And
you did a what?
I did a nudist colony.
And you did a nudist colony?
I was asked to perform in a nudist colony. They asked me to keep my clothes on. After I was...
That's a little insulting.
I've been offended. And then they said, no, if you want to come out and spend the day and get into the experience, then you could do it. But they said, no, just do your thing. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm backstage, and everyone, they have their chairs, and people bring towels out, and they set them down, and they sit on their towels, that way their junk doesn't touch other junk or sweat or whatever. And I'm freaking out. I gotta go perform for 300 nude people.
Wow.
And you think, oh, sexy nude people. The people that are in the nudist colony probably aren't the people that you want to see nude. There's not a lot of airbrushing. So, the old saying is, if you're nervous, you're supposed to picture your audience in their underwear.
But what do you do when they're actually naked?
I picture them in their underwear.
No, you didn't.
I did. I told that on stage. I'm actually picturing you in your underwear, sir, because the turkey is done.
Gobble, 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 gobble. I'm getting a visual.
It was unbelievable.
I don't know how you could have done that, man.
I've done shows everywhere. Again, that's how you get good. I've done deaf shows or Def Jam shows. I've done urban nights. I showed up one thing, it was a deaf show. I thought it was a deaf comedy jam. I show up, it's a show for hearing impaired people.
No.
Again, this was back in LA, at one of their clubs back there. 300 hearing impaired people. Nobody is listening to me. They're watching the interpreter do her act. And so I'm doing my show, but they're not watching, they're watching her do my act. And it was so surreal. I've never seen my act interpreted, done by anybody else. You know, people steal a joke maybe, but they're not going to do your whole act. So I'm doing my jokes and I'm here and she's doing them. I'm getting kind of weirded out. But the crowd, they're responding. They're howling at her.
Wow.
And you know, they'll hit the table because a lot of them don't have good speaking ability. They'll let me know that it's working. And so now I'm starting to have fun with her. So I'm starting to do things and I'm doing dirty jokes. So she's doing, you know, interpreting blowjob. I'm like, that first deaf guy must have been huge. You know, and so then I just go, I'm supercalifragilistic, and she flips me off, and I got standing ovation.
That's so awesome.
It was awesome.
That's so funny. The comics think like I did the same exact thing. And at the end, I started making up words like and she did the same thing.
Again, a sense of humor is what gets us through life.
And they loved it though. I'm sure you're going to say the same thing, that people watching this might go, well, you were mocking them. No. We were making light of going, we love you for who you are.
Right.
And we're going to have fun with this too.
A little bit more seasoned with David Spade and Jake Johansson.
And even more hair.
Even more hair. Spade had more hair back then too. And those guys wouldn't even talk to me because I was the opening act. And the thing is, being the opener, you know, I don't know this guy, he's gonna want to ride or something. So it's, you know, I shut up and I listen. I took notes and I listened. And that's the great thing about being on the road is you get to work with guys who are so much better than you. If you shut up and listen, they have something to teach you. And they will share that, because when you're successful, you want to pass it on to people. And the great thing about being a comic, you learn to diversify. You book stuff, you take acting classes, you do everything you possibly can. You could make a living just marketing, doing Facebook, doing promotion, doing press releases. You could do that, and that's a business in itself. But until you get to the point that you can hire somebody to do that, you've got to know it yourself. A, so you don't get taken advantage of. B, or two, depending if you're in, you know, a mathematical or
you can tell we're comedians because we didn't finish high school. B or two.
Set it up. And
the marketing though, it becomes overwhelming at a certain point. I mean, that's the thing that like I went through, just like you. You know, we started to promote our own careers because you have to be proactive in your career. But then, what do you do when it starts to like people don't realize, they think, oh, you're putting a flyer out, you're sending a couple emails out. That's like half your day, and then you're getting in your car and driving 4 hours to try to nap before your gig.
Right.
How do you do that and not just go?
I meditate. That's why I got into hypnosis, to learn techniques to keep myself balanced. So I try and do a little power nap before the shows. If you could, anywhere across the country at 4 o'clock, you're gonna find a comic sleeping.
Yeah.
It's a dead click.
I learned off of the power naps. Yeah.
20 minutes, you're good to go. And that's something I learned by getting into acting, learning how to relax, learning how to use your instrument, fine-tuning your instrument so you don't snap.
It's very zen of him. Carl, actually, Carl, one of the best people I've ever worked with when it comes to running a venue. One of the amazing things about him is he's very nurturing to the comedians. You know, backstage, if we're in our heads, except for me, if I'm in my head, Carl likes to just mess with me.
Right, well, there's so much in there to kind of, you know.
Carl loves this. But one thing is he said, hey, you guys want to go to yoga one day? And I was like, what? And he took me and 3 comics that, that's right, you were there, that's right. I almost cried at the end. I had this release at the end.
Isn't it great?
And I think that is a great suggestion to upcoming comedians to have stuff like that.
Right. But it's all balanced. Like, you have to be balanced. Again, if you don't have a life, and Dennis Miller said this to me 25 years ago, if the most important part of your life is that 10 minutes you're on stage, you're in trouble. Now, we're all messed up to begin with. Now, again, and I'll quote Mark Lano. He said once in acting class, there's a hole in our soul that we're trying to fill by getting on stage, by doing music or performing. We need that love and attention. I'm doing it because I love it. It's a great business.
And you have to, though. You have to love this business, otherwise.
Getting on that plane or getting in your car. I got an 8-hour drive tomorrow.
You taught me something very important when it comes to road gigs. I called you, and I was like, man, I have to fly, and then they want me to like drive like an hour, and then it was like I was driving over a bridge, and I swear, I'm driving over a bridge to take a boat, and I was like, should I just, and you turned to me and you said, Brett, you do it, you forget about it, and then you go, because I always just say to people, you know, you do all you do to perform on that stage.
Right.
But now, every time I go on road things, or I have a long drive to audition, I go, you know what, it just has to happen, so I can either carry that around with me,
Right.
or I can let that go and just be like, you know what, this sucks, this drive sucks. And those types of things are so important to keep you sane in this business.
But you can do things along the way. You can listen to books on tape. You
Yeah.
can, you know, talk to somebody on the road. You know.
Well, no, I was
mean,
doing all that.
yeah.
I was doing all that stuff, but I was still carrying around when I was
Right.
getting there. Man, I had to deal with that drive, and that affected me.
On your show, yeah. Because you go on stage and you're just.
I'm rattled. Or I can just let that go and go,
Right.
I'm here to perform.
That's why I'm here. I'm paid to be here. I'm
And I
paid to
learned
play.
that from you, sir.
Dude, but that's part of the love that we all
Yeah.
share. When I saw you in Montreal 17 years ago,
Yeah.
and you said, you know, and I'm there just to watch and observe. Now, how many comics would actually pay to go to Montreal just to watch other comics? Very few. And that's where you saw me. You go, why are you showcasing? I go, no, I'm just here to see what everybody else is doing, so I know what I need to do when I get my opportunity. And that's where you go, would you like some constructive criticism? I go, yes, please. Give it to me.
But not a lot of comics will do that.
But that's how
I feel like you're talking down to them.
Right, but that's how you get great, is by listening. Maybe it works for me, maybe it doesn't, but I have the choice to use that information. And you said develop your point of view so you can showcase. And that was one of the greatest things, because it helped me to open up my stories on stage and get more truth. Pain is funny. And without that encouragement from someone who took the time, who again, because your respect for me by showing up to see what other people are doing as opposed to just being on the road making my money. Hey, someone will knock on my door, here's your success key. Welcome to the club. You gotta go out and get it. But you've got to show up, like being in this contest. People go, you're gonna be in a contest, man? I'm not gonna be in a contest. I go, yeah, well, you know what? You're not gonna be seen either.
I hope you win.
I hope so too.
Well, you know, again, it doesn't matter. But I hope you win.
I already won because of the fact that you would want to even interview me now.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. A little thing. Bye-bye.
Hi, it's Don Barnhart for ClownTown.tv. Ow! Ow!